Okay, so let me give you the update on everything. I'm wearing this at the top because I wore this yesterday, and since this stalking started again, worse to me than before, they kept talking about my breasts. So I'm trying to make sure I don't in any way get victim blamed if my breasts are, I don't know, there. That's my point. They keep saying that they were tracking me all along. That's my point. Why should I be tracked and hunted and stalked? Why? So now they're upset because in the video that uploaded yesterday, that was actually done before. It wasn't done yesterday. It was done, if yesterday was Friday, it was done Thursday. They're upset because it doesn't make sense to them that their words and the way they describe me is describing me like I'm nothing. I'm not entitled to any humanity. I don't have civil rights. There's nothing that I can ever say or do that will ever be right for them. And that's the point. I'm not going to try to be right for them. So they keep saying they're going to constantly criticize everything I do. That's my point. They're telling me what I've been telling you. And by them saying it out loud for people to hear, I'm sure there are people wondering, what? Since when is that okay? It's not, and it never was. They said from the time I was a child, they thought they were speaking directly into my head. They weren't. This proved that. So they said, well, we want you to prove more things. I don't have to prove anything else because they've already proven it for me. They said this started when I was about 7 or 8, which went from, they said it was when I was an infant. Now it's 7 or 8. Then it's this time. Then it's that time. That's child abuse. It's wrong. And it isn't just wrong that it's happening to me. It's wrong that it would happen to anyone. The other part is that they felt that they could suggest things for me. And once you hear the suggestions that they're making, you can see these are all bad suggestions. Things they said that they suggested that I behave when I was a little girl, like on Dynasty, Alexis Carrington. That's a crime. You're suggesting a little child behave like Alexis Carrington. And that's my point. If people know this is happening, they would say something. I can't believe that people didn't say something about this on this level that we're talking about it now before. It's just, I can't believe it. So they're suggesting words I can say. You want to know why they do that? To confuse me and make me lose focus. Yesterday when they were talking out loud, I could barely focus. I can't, I can't focus now because of the illness. But add to this the talking. It could not have been happening all along. I would have been making so many mistakes. They said I used to trip a lot and fall. I wasn't tripping and falling. So that's one part of this. The second part is how they felt that they said they always mistreat me. They said, I get poor customer service. And that's my point. If I'm getting poor customer service, that doesn't reflect on me. It reflects on the worker and the business. Ultimately, whatever money is being used to fund this, it's illegal, it's abusive, it violates my civil rights. I'm not only Black, but unfortunately with this illness that they created, they're ridiculing somebody who cannot walk or talk the way she used to. That's okay? Is that okay? It wouldn't be okay if I saw it. If I saw it, it wouldn't be okay. So they said, we're going to twist every situation you've ever been in to make it seem like it's me, I'm the problem. Then why wouldn't you have announced all of this at the time? They did not. They keep twisting and saying they did. They did not. You don't wait until whenever to address something that happened years before. They're obsessed with every man that I've ever liked. They're going to cut me off soon. Because it's, like I said, when I like something, they go for the jugular. They attack when I like. So they're obsessed with the relationship I talked about in the previous video that ended in 2005. What year is this? This is 2023. And why they're obsessed with it is because that to them was something that I had. They said they're going to ruin everything I've ever had. That was something that I had. That's why it has to be ruined. The other relationships I had, the one, my high school boyfriend, it was something that I had. They had to try to ruin it. The high school crush that I was going to write about, that I won't. I think what I'm going to do is talk about something similar, but not that. Because again, it was done to me without my knowledge, and I'm not going to do it to that person. Because in a few moments, I'll get into that situation. But because I had that, they had to ruin it. The high school diploma thing, they had to ruin it. I keep telling them, Cardinal Spellman's diploma was equivalent to a New York Regents diploma. It says it on the diploma. Getting a New York Regents diploma is even in addition to that, which is higher than that in that you do extra work to get it. And that's so simple for everyone to understand. We understood it when we were in high school. I mean, I'm telling you, I think most people don't develop mentally until about 25. If I could have understood it in high school, then there's no reason these people can't understand it. They just don't want to accept it. Okay, we got it back in 87, 88, 89, 90, and 91. Why can't they get it in 2023? They just can't accept it. The other thing they can't accept is that I'm not the only person going through this. I'm not the only person who's experienced this and had very similar symptoms. I'm not a doctor, so I can't say it's the same symptoms, but similar, which means that this causes that. There is a direct cause and effect. They can't accept that. So let me finally move on from those things and talk very quickly about why I wanted to write about this particular situation. I loved a particular movie in the 1990s. And it was so good that, you know when you see something and you like it so much, you start to quote it. Like, there are things that my mom and I quote, different people quote from something. So they said, I'm picking up a new effect. No, I'm human. Like, you see something and you love it so much that you start to like say that thing. And that's my point. In the movie, okay, let me just tell you. No. I should do this way. I'm going to tell you the scene from the movie, give you a few minutes to figure out what the movie is. And in my next video, I'll tell you what the movie is, just in case. We'll just have a little bit of fun when some things are going so wrong, you just have to have that moment where you just have a little fun. So here's the scene. The guy picks up the girl in his car, or he borrows the car. And he opens the door for her and he lets her get into the car. And then he closes the door behind her. He takes his time to walk around to the other side, the driver's side of the car. And he waits just a little bit, and she leans over and opens the door for him. And I'll leave it at that. So you guys who like your movies and this particular movie will remember that scene. And it was something that meant she was good. That was, I don't want to say the word, because if I say the word, then you guys will say, oh yeah, I remember that. But that's my point. That's part of life. When you see someone or you meet someone or you have these connections, and that's what, I talk about connections a lot. When you have these connections with people and they kind of have that moment with you and you have that moment with them, that's what life is to me. That's what life is. And they can't destroy that, because no matter what happens, 20-something years later, 18 years later, 30 years later, those connections never fade. There are times I look at somebody I had a connection with and I'm like, that was it. You know what I mean? And that's what they can't destroy. They can destroy, they keep talking about it, going over and over and over and over, but they can't destroy my seeing that movie and making that connection right then in that moment. That's a connection where I fell in love with the movie. Thanks for watching.